Your partner looks at you and asks, "What's wrong?" And before you've even decided what to say, the word is already out. Nothing. Your jaw tightens. Your breath goes shallow. For a split second, you feel it. A door slamming shut somewhere in your chest. You just lied. And you know you'll keep lying for the rest of the evening. Not because you don't trust them, because somewhere along the way, you learned that showing need is more dangerous than breaking alone. People might call you the strong one. You fix things, you carry weight without complaint. And part of you wears that identity like armor. It feels like a kind of capability others don't have. But there's a second skeleton underneath that nobody sees. The exhaustion that lives in your shoulders, even on days when nothing visible went wrong. The strange loneliness of being everyone's rock while your own foundation quietly cracks. The way your body tenses when someone offers genuine help. Because your first reflex isn't gratitude, it's something closer to fear. You've probably explained this to yourself. You're self-sufficient. You watch others lean on people and file that away. Not cruelly, just with a private sense that they need something you've learned to live without. Over time, standing alone stops being a habit. It becomes a moral position. Asking for help starts to feel like a character failure, not just something you avoid, but something you're almost proud to be beyond. But then there are the moments that don't fit. A friend offers real support, and instead of relief, you feel a wave of discomfort, an urgent need to cancel the request, to handle it yourself after all. When you finally say no, there's that peculiar settling, not loss, but something that feels like safety, as if you just dodged a threat. And you can't help noticing the contradiction. If your independence is purely strength, why does accepting care feel like something you need to survive? Here's what no one talks about. When you refuse to depend on anyone, you're not just avoiding inconvenience. You're avoiding the uncertainty of waiting for someone else's response. The risk that they say no. The risk that they say yes but resent it. The heavy feeling of owing, of being in emotional debt you don't know how to repay. Seen this way, your isolation isn't stubbornness. It's a strategy, a deeply logical one, for controlling the one thing that felt most uncontrollable: other people. And it works. It works so well that you keep choosing it, while the cost accumulates in places you've trained yourself not to look. One of those costs is the emptiness that follows every solo victory. You handle something huge alone, and for a moment there's satisfaction. Then the quiet comes. No one celebrates with you. No one even knew the weight you were carrying. And there's a hollowness in that silence that no amount of self-congratulation can fill. Another cost is the people around you, slowly learning not to reach. Not because they don't care, but because they've learned their offers will be refused. You watch a partner's face close down after one too many "I'm fines." You feel a friendship cool, not dramatically, but in small ways. Fewer texts, shorter conversations, until you realize you're more isolated than ever. Not because you're alone, because you've become unreachable. If you trace the pattern back past the identity of the strong one, you start to see something else. This isn't independence born from confidence. It's independence born from learning, deeply, and usually early, that depending on people hurts. Maybe you showed need once and got coldness, irritation, silence. You learned that being good meant being invisible in your struggles. Or maybe it came later, a betrayal, an abandonment, a moment when vulnerability got used against you. And you adapted. You built something so convincing that even you forgot it was built on fear. What if every time you say "I can handle it alone," you're not expressing confidence? What if you're obeying something much older? The version of you who stopped asking for help was not making a mistake. They looked at an unsafe world and made a decision. I will become someone who doesn't need anyone, and they succeeded. That was not pathology. That was survival. The problem is that the wall is still standing long after the original danger passed, and now it keeps out not just threats, but warmth. Your self-reliance is not proof of your power. It is proof of how completely you learned that you could not count on anyone else. That is a wound. And wounds, when they go unnamed long enough, start to feel like identity. The fortress kept you safe, but it also kept you unseen. Real independence isn't the inability to lean. It's the capacity to choose, knowing you can stand alone, and also knowing that some weight was never meant to be carried by one person. So here is the permission that probably never came. You don't have to tear any of this down. You can honor the wall for what it was, something a younger version of you built with the only materials available in a moment when nothing else would hold. But maybe tonight you can set it down for 5 minutes. When someone offers care, you don't have to say yes. Just notice what rises in you before the automatic no arrives. When exhaustion hits, notice the reflex to hide it. You don't have to change anything yet. Just see the pattern for what it is. Not a monument to your strength, but an old instruction still running in a situation it no longer fits. And one day, when it feels a little safer, because maybe it finally is, you might reach out. Not because you must. Not as a new identity. Just as an experiment. A small offering to the part of you that has been carrying everything alone for a very long time. That will be a different kind of strength, not the kind built on fear, the kind built on choice. If this kind of quiet recognition is something you want more of, subscribe. There's more here for the part of you that's been carrying things alone.